Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying out the Artex acrylic marker set. I got these as a gift and they weren't sent to me. There are 30 colors. They are water-based and they are brush tip, and they are bright and opaque, and they are also available on different surfaces. The main reason I wanted to try these markers out is because they are brush tip and I don't really have any acrylic markers that are brush tip. I am going to show you guys what the inside looks like. I did do an unboxing as a short video, so if you guys want to go watch that. But let's just review the markers a little bit before I start with the swatching. Okay, so this is like a little swatch card. But I am going to swatch the markers myself just to see what the colors look like in real life because these are just like printed versions. This tray looks like all of like the brighter colors, and then this tray looks like all the colors that are a little like darker. So yeah, I really like the colors just at like first glance. They look super pretty, especially these. I love like the brighter colors. So before I start with the swatches, I'm just going to take a look at the actual marker. It's a pretty standard barrel, you know. And this is the part I'm most excited about. It's the brush tip, like I said. I'm excited to see how these work while I'm drawing. So yeah, guys, let's start off with the swatching. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do the swatches in the sketchbook right here. I'm starting off just titling the page, and I titled it Artex Acrylic Markers. I know, how creative, but I love doing swatches, actually. It's so fun and really relaxing. And I don't know if it's the perfectionist in me or what, but things like this, I have to make sure they look even or else I am going to redo them. Okay guys, I finished all of the swatches and these look very promising. They were very like juicy, like the markers were juicy, so I do think they're gonna last me a long time, hopefully. And then they are pretty opaque. But yeah, these look super good. They all went onto the paper super well, so I'm very excited to see what the drawing's gonna look like. So yeah, I'm gonna start some drawings on this paper. Now I'm gonna go to Pinterest and find something to draw. Once I found a reference that I wanted to use, I started sketching out the drawing, and the reference that I found was actually a picture of someone else's drawing, but it was in like this really cartoony style. It looked like that artist used paint markers for their drawing, so I thought it was perfect. So after I finished the sketch, I just went over it with a knitted eraser to lighten up the pencil marks, just so that when I go over it with paint markers, I know you won't be able to see any of the pencil through, because it makes me so mad whenever I make a drawing and I go over the sketch with markers and you can see the pencil through. So yeah, the reference that I chose used like very wild colors for the different features. So as you can see, I started off doing blue for the hair and then yellow for the skin color. The yellow ended up being the perfect color because I could still see the pencil through, so I didn't lose my sketch. And when I went over the yellow with other colors, the pencil disappeared. So yeah, the darkest color here is probably the dark blue or the dark purple. And I'm also using this pink as a shadow color. I wanted this drawing to look a little bit messy because that was kind of the style that I was going for here. But so far, honestly, I was pretty proud of myself. I thought I was looking pretty good. I added some little star doodles and then I moved on to the next person that I was making on this page. So this drawing was a little bit of a different idea where I would do the base color first, which was yellow. And then I did the sketch over top. I was a little nervous though because I didn't want the sketch and then the marker to like bleed together and look all muddy. If that makes sense, in my head it does. But thankfully that didn't happen. So then I started coloring in her hair. And this one I actually didn't use a reference for. It was more like an idea that I used. And normally I don't really like create characters myself because that's just not the style of art that I do. And even though I have barely any experience making my own characters, this was really fun. So I guess the theme really for this paper was for all these characters to be kind of different and have their own like style. But yeah, so far the markers are working really good. The background of the second drawing does look a little weird, I think just because I used the colors over the yellow. So yeah, I'm doing the same kind of thing that I did from my last drawing in this drawing where I did the background first. And I had really high hopes for this drawing that I'm working on right now, but I feel like it does not look that good. I just feel like her face looks like something's off. I don't know, it might just be me. One thing that I am kind of noticing though is that the drawings are progressively getting worse. I think the first drawing I made on this paper was my best. I don't know if it's because I was using a reference for that one and not for the other three. That being said, I don't think any of the four look necessarily bad, but I just wish they looked a little bit better and reached my expectations a little bit more. Okay, but now I'm on the last sketch and I'm doing the thing that I did for the first drawing where I didn't do a background before I did the sketch. And I'm doing the same process where I sketch it and then I'm going to lighten it with my kneaded eraser and then do the yellow for the skin tone. Also, I did not expect these drawings to take this long, but all four of them probably took like 4 hours. And I think a lot of it was just like fine-tuning the sketch. But yeah, the point is that I was not expecting for these drawings to take this long. I know I said I don't love all of these drawings, but I am really happy with how they turned out. I don't really draw in this style, so honestly I was pretty proud of myself. But back to the markers. The markers are doing very well. They're applying to the paper really smooth, and they are very opaque, so if I mess up somewhere, I can just go over it with a different color, which is so nice because I mess up a lot. So now I'm just finishing up by adding some little hearts in the background and little details to this drawing. And yeah, after about 4 hours of work, I'm done. Finished this piece. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I did not know what to expect because normally I don't do like this cartoony style. I just do like realism if you've seen my videos before. And there was no way that I'd be able to do a drawing in realism with paint markers. So yeah, this is my little drawing that I did on paper, but the box says that these markers can be used on different surfaces, so I want to try that out to like see how good they work on the different surfaces, because at the end of this video I'm going to be giving like my thoughts on these markers. Originally I was going to draw on a rock with these markers, but I realized that there are really no good rocks by my house and I really did not want to paint a rock, so I decided I would paint a seashell. This might be a little bit more difficult because of like all the texture to the seashells, but we'll just try it out and see how it goes. So these are the seashells I got in Florida, and I'm gonna hurry and pick one out. Okay, so I went through the bag and I think I'm gonna pick between these three. I wanted them to be kind of smooth, but also kind of have a lot of surface area. I also kind of wanted them to be plain so that I wouldn't be covering up any of like the pretty details of the actual seashell. Okay, so I started off by doing a white base coat on the shell, which was messier than I expected. It also took a lot of coats of paint, so I set that aside to dry, but I couldn't wait. I didn't really have anything else to do, so I decided to start on another shell. This time without doing a white base coat and going right in with the markers on the shell. I didn't know if I should have prepped the actual surface first, but I didn't. And for this shell, I'm doing like a little sunset, which I realized might not have been the best idea because there was no orange. I just had to use this like peach color and substitute it for orange. I think it ended up fine. Anyways, now I'm doing the water. I'm trying to add as many details as possible, especially on the water because I think that's just going to make it look so much better. And the main way to do that was to add a bunch of these white highlights. So after I had done that, I just did some like touch-ups, did the edges of the shell. I didn't really do any details, I just wanted the colors to be there so it wasn't just the tan color of the shell. I did try and add a little bit of a darker color to the sky, where the sky hit the water. So if you saw, I like touched the two markers together to add some red to the pink marker. And then when I finished, I just did a coat of gloss Mod Podge. And here it is done. Okay guys, I finished this seashell. I think it turned out really good actually. I originally started off painting this seashell. When I did the black trees, it just did not look right. I wish I would have just left it the three colors, but I'm just gonna decide to forget about this one. So then I decided to do this seashell without doing a white base coat like I did on the other one. I just didn't want to have to wait for the white paint to dry, so I just decided to go right in and just to see how the markers did. And I think they did pretty well. I absolutely love how this seashell came out. I'm definitely putting this in my room. Okay guys, so here's everything I made today and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on these paint markers. Okay, first of all, I really like the brush tip and they like didn't run out of ink or get like less juicy as I was working, so that was really nice. Also, like you could basically cover anything up, like if you messed it up or if like I put the color in the wrong spot, I could just let it dry and then I could go over it, and that was really nice. I really like that. So I was really impressed with these markers as I was drawing. They were really opaque, they didn't like bleed into each other, they dried fast, which is something I was very glad about. So drawing on paper, I was really impressed. I couldn't really think of any cons that I had about these markers while I was drawing. Based on how well the markers did for this paper drawing, I would honestly have to give them a 9 out of 10 for this portion because they exceeded my expectations. Honestly, before I started using these, I knew basically nothing about them. I just saw like 2 videos really on YouTube and I was like, hey, maybe these will be cool to test out. I'll give my final rating about these markers at the end after I tell you guys my pros and cons about painting on a surface like a seashell. I love how the seashell turned out, and the markers did do pretty well on this surface. One thing that I did kind of notice is that the markers were starting to kind of dry up a little bit, mostly after I did this shell. I think that was just because of all the texture. This might be a little bit more difficult because of like all the texture to the seashells. After I ran the marker over paper again, it was fine. It was just kind of annoying when I was trying to cover the surface of this shell and the marker was just drying out. The other thing I noticed is that the color range is a little weird because there is no orange. This color right here is the closest thing I had to an orange, but it's super peachy. And also these 2 blues right here are basically the exact same color. But based on the markers working on different surfaces, I would honestly say they worked pretty well. Just the fact that they dried out a little bit, but on this shell they worked really well. Overall, I'd probably give these markers a 9 out of 10. So should you go buy these markers or not? I would say they are worth your money. If you're looking for paint markers with a brush tip, then I would definitely recommend these. So yeah, that's all for this video. This is everything I made today. I really like it. I'm super happy with the finished product of both of these things. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Bye!